You're watching Hollywood One-on-One, presented by StarRoseEntertainment.tv. Hi, this is Tyrone TANN with StarRoseEntertainment.tv, and we're here with the lovely, beautiful Miss ERIN Gray. How you
Hi,
doing?
darling. How are you?
Good. Now, going back, we co-starred a movie called Social Misses together, and it was an honor. And most of all, I just want to know, right now, there's not very many family positive programming anymore. And I grew up as a fan of like shows as Silver Spoon and Buck Rogers, and I know millions of other people did too. What or who in your life influenced you or was a positive influence to you or even inspired you to become an actress?
Whoa. Inspired me to become an actress. I don't know if there was any particular one person. I mean, I was a kid who loved watching movies late at night, all the black and white films with Betty Davis and Joan Crawford, and I just loved movies. And so I was just a lover of movies. So I loved the other movies series when I was growing up, like Father Knows Best and Leave It to Beaver.
Yes, my favorite.
I loved them all. So I think it was just the genre of being an actor was something that appealed to me. But I never really thought or grew up thinking I was going to be an actress. It sort of came sideways.
Just came.
Yeah, and it did unexpectedly.
Now, what positive messages can you give to someone that's not necessarily just trying to break in as an actor or actress, but just trying to fulfill their dreams? I know you were an influence with myself and other people. I wonder what, anyone else out there that's, sometimes they're down on their luck. They just want to hear something positive.
Okay, all right. Well, I know for myself, I didn't know I wanted to be an actor, and I never felt that I had the right to dream because I grew up in a very dysfunctional family, and I was constantly moving and constantly like leaving school halfway through the year and coming into a new school, and it was hard making friends, and if you made friends you might not see them a year later and that sort of thing. So I didn't allow myself to dream. And then I tell a story about how my mother married every guy she dated, and she married a lot, and there was one guy that she didn't marry that she should have married. And he was my mentor, and he became my best friend. And he's the one that got me dreaming big.
Yes.
And he was the kind of guy who would go around all the years that I knew him. He would always, he always seemed to have teenage kids that he was inspiring and getting them to, and his whole thing was, what have you got to lose by trying? And when I first came home and I said, I got this summer job and I'm going to work at May Company. And he said, why would you want to work at May Company making $25 a week when you can make $30, $40 an hour as a model? And I was like, well, I don't know anything about modeling. And he said, so what have you got to lose by trying? And I went, okay. And then he taught me some very important things. First thing you have to do when you want to learn how to do something is do the research.
Take notes.
Yeah, no, you got to really do the research. So what he did was he opened up the yellow pages and he said, you have to work with photographers. And then he put a map on the wall of Los Angeles, and he called every single photographer in Los Angeles. It took him an entire day.
Wow.
And he asked questions. What are the requirements for being a model? How do you feel about a young girl being 15 starting modeling? What are her chances of getting modeling? Oh, she has to have an agent. Okay, who are the best agencies? Then he literally did a survey of all the agencies in the business, and each photographer had to sort of rate each one and why they liked and whatever. So by the end of the day, he knew more about the modeling business than even probably most of the agents in town. They would like to know what he knew by the end of that day. So research is number one. The next thing was every time he called somebody, he would put a pin on the map in Los Angeles to where they were located, right? So what was revealed was photographers like to locate in special neighborhoods. So the next day, I'm 15 years old, he gives me a lesson on how to drive a car. I'm 15 years old and I'm driving a cherry red Mustang convertible, and in 1965 this is the hot car, right? So you can tell he's got a great attitude, right? The cars are made to drive, and my mother was going, oh no, she'll dent it. Oh, my mother was very much the negative, and he was just the opposite. Everything was positive. What have you got to lose? The cars are there for driving. So he gave me a lesson to drive. I'm driving to Los Angeles, and we literally cold called and knocked on doors going all the way up Robertson Boulevard and across Santa Monica Boulevard. The next lesson he taught me was, you're going to get some people who are in a bad mood, and you're going to get some people in a good mood. If they're in a bad mood, don't take it personally. Just say thank you for your time and move on.
That's good.
Right? Yep. So that was the other lesson. So by the fifth or sixth door that we knocked on, I was already testing.
Wow.
Which was great, right? So I proved that I had the look, and I enjoyed doing it, and I loved what I was doing. So then halfway through the day, he said, okay, now we have to look for agents, because that you need an agency. So he said, on the list of agents do you want to go to? And I picked the person at the bottom of the list. That's where my self-esteem was at that time.
Oh.
So we went in and we got some board secretary chewing gum, barely looked at me. Oh, we don't see people only on Wednesday afternoons, come in then, and so he dismissed me. So I was crushed. I was ready to go home, and he said, no, number one is across the street. The number one agency in the business is across the street. And I said, but if they don't like me, the bottom of the list, why would number one want me? He said, we're here. What have you got to lose by trying? We can always go home. So I went over there and I met up with Miss Blanchard. She said, I'll tell you what I'm going to do for you. I'm going to send you on 2 auditions. I don't like dealing with teenagers. I don't like dealing with it because I have to deal with their social workers and mothers. But I'll tell you what, you do well on those auditions, you come back and see me when you graduate from high school. Next day, I got my second driving lesson, drove into LA, and here's the next lesson I learned. I went in, and I was fascinated by the process, so I asked questions.
Asking questions is a good
So, here's the lesson. Not only asking questions, be interested in the other person.
Listening.
Listen to what they're saying. So I asked, how did you become an art director? What made you come up with this idea for the campaign? What's the thought behind it? How many people do you have to interview to get a job? Oh, you have to work with a team of people. Who puts the team together? How does the company find the advertising? I was loving this. I was a kid who was dying to go out into the adult world. And I loved learning. I loved the stuff. An hour later, I literally had my arms around the guy and I'm giving him advice on how to talk to his teenage daughter about drugs.
Wow.
Okay? Not knowing that this is very unusual,
Yeah.
So the next, I go to do another interview. I'm in there for half an hour. Okay, cut to the end of the day. I'm at home, and my mother's boyfriend says to me, his name was Gene, he said, Erin, you have to always say thank you. When people give of their time, it's important that you call up and say thank you or write them a thank you note.
Just common courtesy.
Common courtesy is very important. And I put it off. 6 o'clock, or like 5:45, he comes in, he said, that's it, pick up the phone now. So I called up Miss Blanchard, and this is what I got. Hi, Miss Blanchard, this is Erin Gray, and I just want to thank you. Where the blankly blank are you? And I'm like, I'm sorry, Miss Blanchard, I just wanted to say thank you. She said, whatever you do, don't hang up the phone, please. You've got to be in here in half an hour to sign contracts. Contracts? Yes, you got both commercials. And we didn't know where you were. You didn't give us a telephone number. We didn't know how to reach us. So if I hadn't called back to say thank you, I would never have gotten 2 national television commercials, and that started my career.
That's fascinating. No,
Okay.
and that's the positiveness that we're trying to
Yes,
promote.
I know.
And I know you're involved with so much, and you're working all the time. And obviously, I love working with you. Now, anything you need anything to promote that the viewers can know, that keep in touch with you, and to also to know what you're up to, because I know you're doing so much, and it's to keep track. But I know you're involved with not just acting, just a lot of other self-motivating and everything. Is there anything else that
I do give speeches on motivating people, inspiring people to reach their goals, to go after them. It's very important. So don't forget those lessons. Dream big. What have you got to lose by trying? Be interested in, do your research, and just take the steps forward, because you don't know what the universe has in mind for you, but you got to take the step. The universe will meet you if you take the steps out, okay? That's number one. What I'm doing for myself, I have a movie coming out called Dreams Awake.
Okay.
Wonderful film. Google it. You'll get a lot of websites all about talking about it. I also have a company called Heroes for Hire.
Heroes for Hire? That'd be heroesforhire.com?
Heroesforhire.info.
.info. That'll be right underneath, here, about right here.
And I represent celebrities, and I book them in personal appearances around the world. A lot of them give speaking engagements at charity events, corporate events, or go to events like this, signing autographs. So I'm all about representing these heroes, in my opinion.
Yes.
They're all heroes. They all inspire people in different ways, and they do wonderful work. And then another thing I would say is, try wherever you can to give back in every way, whether it's a smile at a stranger or a $5 donation to our local battered women's shelter. Try to always find ways that you can give into the universe, and you'll get that back tenfold.
Well, I want to say thank you so much. God bless you. And I know it just everything, you're such a wonderful lady and a wonderful actress and wonderful to work with. And again, thank you very much.
Good seeing you. Congratulations. It was a pleasure working with you on the film. You were wonderful.
Oh, you too.
You're an inspiration, too.
Thank you so
really
much.
Are. Yeah, you got a positive attitude.
Well, this is Tyrone Tan again with
Erin Gray.
on StarosEntertainment.tv.